Okay, and welcome to an interview with Mark from the Lego Room on his Star Wars Mock. So let's have a look at his YouTube video, and we'll interview him about his mock. Okay, Callum, if you want to press the play button.
Yeah.
So Mark, tell us about what we've got here.
Yeah, so this is my project of the moment. So what I'm attempting to do is build a scene from all 11 of the Star Wars movies, and probably the Mandalorian as well at the end. So I'm a big Star Wars fan, big Lego fan, obviously. So being able to sort of combine the two things together is it's like a dream. So I've picked my favourite scenes from all of the movies. This is obviously the original trilogy. Next, I'll be working on the prequels. Episode 1's already started, and it's something that keeps me occupied, keeps my creative juices flowing, and it's great just to be able to build in Star Wars. The pieces that we've got from Lego in recent years to help with Star Wars buildings are amazing. So it's great just to be able to have this project and build the things I want to build from Star Wars.
Cool. So how long did it take you to create this?
So I built each scene separately. So each one's probably 13, 14 hours worth of work by the time I've thought about what it's going to be like and then start to put the pieces together. So sort of with work and family and things, I have to kind of pick away at those 13 and 14 hours when I can. So the first scene, which was the Death Star trench run, that probably was a month, month in real time, just building where I can in between all my other priorities. So times the 3 up, we've probably got just under 3 months worth of work there. And I guess the other scenes, the forthcoming scenes, they'll be the same. So hopefully by the end of the year, I'll be able to display the whole Star Wars movie.
Wow.
However I want to. That's the plan anyway.
So what inspired you to make this in the first place? Who gave you inspiration?
So the main thing I built before this, I built a gigantic Hoth scene. So Hoth has always been my favourite part of the Star Wars universe. Just the snow, the AT-AT walkers, the way the rebels defend the base and get the rebel transporters away. So as I was building that, and that took me almost a whole year, 2019, I kept having the ideas of, it'd be great to do scenes from the other planets and scenes from the other movies. And as I finished Hoth, I knew straight away what I wanted to do next. Literally, as Hoth was built, within 2 weeks, I was taking it down to reuse the parts to start this one. It just came from there. And when I was doing Hoth, I would post updates on my YouTube channel. I get some really, really nice comments and really good support from the Lego community. So got a lot of ideas as well for this new project from other people too. So that's been really nice.
So is there many sets in this?
So I always, the way I start these things off is I normally start off with a set. So this one in particular, you've got the ATST, which is the Rogue One ATST. Forget the set number. I used to be able to quote them off by heart, but not anymore. And of the mini ships for the Death Star scene, the X-Wing is a set. That was one of the old sets that came with the planets and the figure. The Y-Wing came with a magazine, and then the TIE Fighter I made myself, and of course the AT-AT that you saw in the Hoth scene, that's a set as well. That is the original Lego AT-AT, which I think is the best one. Although the new one coming out in a few months, I think that looks pretty smart too. So I might treat myself to that one day.
So Callum, do you want to take us back to part of the video that you particularly like, and we'll see.
Yeah. So my favourite part, I really like this trench run. Like, where did you get the ideas from to make such?
That was really good fun to make, because I've got a huge pile of dark grey pieces, and just every piece I picked out the pile worked for the kind of greebling and the detail. There are some huge mocks around if you look on YouTube and Google. Some fantastic things that people have made. So there's a lot of inspiration out there for the kind of the general idea. But the good thing with it is that each time someone makes one of these, it's unique because the greebling is always going to be different.
Yeah.
I chose dark grey. Most people choose light grey. I think light grey is probably more accurate to the movie, but I liked the contrast of the dark grey compared to the X-Wing, the white of the X-Wing. So that's why I chose that. And the corridor that you can see there, that was really just so there was a bit of variety in the scene. So it wasn't just all the greebling, and that turned out much better than I expected. I was planning to make a kind of quite a basic corridor, but as things went on, it turned out pretty good. As you can probably tell, I don't often plan things. I just start to throw bricks together with a rough idea in my head.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if I've got an idea of what I want to build, I'll start to make it. The end product is never what I intended to set out with. I kind of change things and amend things as I go along. And of course, a lot of it depends on what pieces you've got to hand to. So often I'll kind of start off knowing what pieces I got, something that could work, but I normally end up going, no, that's not quite right. And then I'll be off to Britlink to get a new ordering of Darkstone pieces or whatever it is to finish it off.
So do your ideas come out of your head? So you've got the entrance to Hoth and it's built up of bricks. I don't know if you can take us back to that point in the video, Callum, and just pause it there. So did that just come out of your head, or did you get that from looking at pictures? Or
if we were to look at my other Hoth video, you'll see I built a huge gate for Hoth. And I got the idea from that one from looking at pictures from the movie. So this one here is a mini version of that. So I've got that kind of like experience to call back on. And of course, I had all the pieces there sat waiting from my previous project. But in terms of ideas, where they come from, sometimes I will sketch out maybe a helicopter view of something I want to build to start with. But then once I start putting the bricks together, it never really ends up looking like what the sketch did. But I think that's part of the process. That's part of what you let the Lego take you where it takes you, and see what you end up with. If you don't like what you end up with, then you start again. That's the beauty of Lego, until you're happy with it.
You've got some superb ideas there. I like the way you've done the floor in the white grill pieces.
Yes, yeah. It was just a way of differentiating it from the snow, which I used the tiles to, and obviously the dark stone landing pad. And in the movie, the rebels do walk around on footing pads. They don't look quite like that, but I thought I'd put something in there to differentiate it from the main snow.
Well, the actual trench that works really well in there, I think.
Yeah.
It's sort of akin to the movie, isn't it? Because that's what it looks like in the movie.
Yeah, and I said earlier, Empire Strikes Back and Hoth is my favorite, but it's the trench that I really like.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating because I love snow.
Pause it there, Callum.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So it's nice to build with the slopes and then add on the squared pieces well over the top, and it works nicely. I could have made it far more curvaceous and less of the severe corners and things, but I quite like how it turned out with the block effect. It kind of looks a little bit retro. So that's pretty good. And then similarly, if you look in the background on the mountain, those are more smoothed off.
I don't know if we can go to the mountain. Can you find the mountain surrounding the...
I do like to build a good mountain. Mountains are fun.
Yes, I like the way you've done the brickwork. It's very different to how other people have done it. Sort of, it's layered out on its side, which is quite interesting. It's a nice technique.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's good fun. And all of the scenes that you see there, they're all on a 48 by 48 board. So I've set myself some rules with this project. So each scene will be either 1 or 2 48 plates.
Ah, that's a good idea.
They all disconnect like the modulars, and I can pin them in together. So it's all one scene. I can then change the ordering of them. So if I wanted to do episodes 1 to 9, I could, or if I wanted to put them in my favourite order of Star Wars movies, which might be quite controversial, but I could do that, and so on. So the plan is that they're modular, and that helps me with storage too. Because one problem I do have is I build things and I've got nowhere to put them.
Yeah, I think everybody has that problem.
Yeah, it's a problem we all face. So the way I've done these is I can move them around a bit, and if I take the AT off that plate, it's only that thick, so it just tucks away in a drawer somewhere. So yeah, that was something I did after building my original Hoff scene last year. I didn't think about what do I do with it when it's done and can I transport it, hence why I had to take it down, because it just took up all the room I had in my little Lego room.
So have you thought about going to any shows with this?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's probably been in my mind as I built these scenes up. They're transportable, so yeah, that could happen. I've never been to a displayed at a show before, so it'd be a new experience. But yeah, something I'd probably like to do. Once I've got enough scenes, then yeah, that'd be
cool.
really good.
So can we have a look at the bunker, Callum? Can you just go back to the? I think it's at the start somewhere, or maybe at the end. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, the Endor bunker.
So is that's not a set, that's your own creation, is it? The bunker?
That's my own bunker, and that was really hard to do because of the angled walls.
Yeah.
If I was to take the top off and look inside, it's not very pretty. I'm ashamed to say, but it's using a lot of hinge plates, so hinge plates for that, and lay the board on top. And it was quite hard to make that work all the way around. So even the recess of the doorway, I've angled too. So the gaps, so you can see the corners, the gaps are a little bit more than I wanted, but it was the best I could achieve. But overall, it looks good. And to build that, I did get a screenshot of the movie and just keep it as a still up on my iPad, and I would look at it as I put the pieces together, particularly for the roofing effect. So yeah, I really enjoyed building that. It's good when you find something that's hard to do, and then you get there in the end, you feel quite satisfied.
Yes.
Overall, on that Endor scene, I got some improvements to make. So the brown flooring, I need to add more detail onto that just to make it match the detail I did for the Hoff scene. So there's always improvements, even when something's finished. It's not really finished because you can always think I could do this and do that, and people give you suggestions. So constantly evolving the scenes and the things that you build in Lego, which again is a great part of the hobby. It's always there for you.
Cool.
So what's your favourite part of the whole thing?
Of this Moc?
Yeah.
I would say, I think I'm with you, Callum. So it is the Death Star trench scene because it's different. It's the first thing I built, not in minifigure scale. So using the mini ships, and just because it was so fun to do, it was great. That part didn't take as long as you would think, just because it works so nicely with every piece I picked out. Yeah, I can use that. That can go there. That looks nice with that. So yeah, that's my favourite bit.
Was it fairly easy to do that one?
Yeah, once I'd worked out the shape, so how many studs I wanted to go across, and then the box bit coming up, it was reasonably easy compared to, say, the Endor bunker or the Hoff flooring. It was probably one of the more simple parts of the build, even though it looks like the most complex. So yeah, that's why it was so fun.
That's really good. Yeah. Any more questions, Callum?
Do you have any plans for the future? Like, what do you intend to make?
Yeah, so I'll continue with this overall project. So I'll build scenes from the prequels next, and then the sequels, and then the Mandalorian and Solo and Rogue One. So that will probably take me easily all of this year and probably a bit of next, given the sort of limited time I get to build. But after that, so I have given some thought to what do I want to do after this. So as well as Star Wars, I'm quite big on Disney.
All right, cool.
I've got this sort of vision in my head of building Walt Disney World in mini scale. So like an overall plan view, Main Street and all the different areas. It might not happen. I get these ideas, and they're the best thing in the world for a few weeks, and then something else comes along and replaces it. So I'm not sure, but that's my current thoughts of what to do after the Star Wars.
We actually have a guy who's done a Disney. He was at Steam back in October, and he did Disney there. So I don't know if you saw that, but he's actually on our show as well.
Oh, well, definitely check that out. So I did see at one of the shows a huge Disney castle. It was gigantic, and it was probably one of the best things I've ever seen in Lego. It might be one you're familiar with. I think it was at the Bristol show, and I was just. He's a professional builder. That guy. It shows. He's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yes.
So shall we have a look at your other video on Hoff?
Yeah.
Callum, you'll have to go back to the
Yeah.
actual page.
It's the top one.
The top one. Okay.
That's the one.
Wow. ECS scale.
Yeah. So believe it or not, this little project just started out as a little display for my Millennium Falcon. So I was really lucky to get Millennium Falcon. Had a important birthday a few years ago, and that was my gift. So over the moon with that. And the thing with the Falcon, it's so big, it's hard to know what to do with it when you built it. So I thought I'll just build myself a little hangar to go with it, and it just morphed into this entire build. So it took over all of the space I had in the room where I do my Lego. What probably was intended to be a few thousand pieces around the Falcon turned into well over 16,000. It's probably more like 18,000, although I quote it as 16,000 to be safe. So yeah, it just morphed from a small project to something which took me a year to build. I kept coming up with more ideas to add to it. So the hangar, the doorways, let's get some snow speeders involved, let's do a command center, let's do a medical chamber. And although it's based on Hoth, it's not a copy of the movie Hoth. So I've kind of just done my own thing using some of the elements from the movie. And called it Hoth. It's not Echo based. It's my own base that is somewhere on Hoth. That's how I describe it. But that was really good fun. It took a long time though. I mean, it took me a year to pick a way out and build. Particularly through the summer, I didn't touch it whilst other things were going on. So probably is maybe just less than a year's build, but pretty mammoth project.
Loads of fun detail in there. I like.
Yeah. There's the trenches again. You can see the white tiles that I used on the Hoth we just looked at. So I used a lot of the ideas from this one on the new one. Those doors that you see on the right hand side, they're motorized. There's a power functions motor in each side pin. So press the buttons and they go back in again. That was something I wasn't going to do, but on my YouTube channel, one of the people I'm close to and exchange a lot of ideas with, he encouraged me to do it and even sent me some plans on how to motorize it. So I did that. That was really good. And the scene you hear with the snow speeders, the best bit about that is I'm using the original vintage space plates. So I was stuck for quite a while on how to build the landing bays for the snow speeders, and then this idea popped into my head. And being of a certain age, I remember when those base plates were brand new. I used to enjoy space Lego when I was a young boy, so it was great just to use some of the old pieces from that era in a new build.
You got a nice medical chamber there.
Yes, yeah. So you asked about sets and things that I use. So that is there's a Hoth medical set that you can get. Again, I can't remember the set number, but I got 3 of them. One I bought brand new, 2 I bought from eBay, but at the figures, so they were really, really reasonable priced. And kind of crashed them together and added a load of my own pieces just to make a giant Hoth chamber. I'm the sort of builder that I do need something to start me off, be it a set or a figure or something, and then I kind of build up around that to make it my own.
So you got a moving figure there. How did you do that? Can you go back to that a bit, Callum?
Sure.
So yeah, that's Admiral Akbar. Obviously, Admiral Akbar is not on Hoth in the movies, but in my world he is. So yeah, he's on a little command center that it's hard to describe. But you've got tiles on top of tiles, so it runs along a little pathway, and the technic beams to kind of pull in and out and twist to move him. That the idea for that, there is a set. I think it's called Home One. It's a really old Star Wars set, and
I think I'm familiar with it. Yeah,
you know that one. Yeah, so you do have a chair in that set that works a little bit like that one. So that's where I got the idea from to do that. And yeah, I like Admiral Akbar too. He's one of my favourite Star Wars characters, even though he doesn't get much screen time. So put him in.
That's really neat. I like the way how that moves.
Yeah, that's good. And then you've got the Death Star hologram in the background. I think that comes from the same set I just mentioned. I bought it off eBay in parts. I don't have the full set, but I use some of the parts.
Cool.
So how big is this roughly?
That is so in studs. I can't remember. I know the the gate is probably about 60 studs high. But in measurements, I think this is about 1 meter by 1.5 meters. So, you know, so it's a reasonable size. I've only got quite a small room that I do my Lego in, and it took up almost the entire room. I had a small walkway around the edge.
So was it weight?
Yeah, that's why I wasn't able to keep it, because if I then wanted to build more stuff, I needed A, the space, and B, the pieces. So, yeah, I got a few people weren't that pleased that I had to take it down in order to build my next project, but it was just so impractical. It was sad to take it down, but at the end, also I was quite excited to get on to the next project. You know, having spent a year building that.
But I think the thing with these things is if you can capture it on video, then you've got a good memory of it then, and you've done a really good job of videoing this. It's got all the detail in there.
Yes, and that video was Beyond the Bricks saw it. So
really?
Yeah, they shared it on their Facebook page, which, you know, for someone, you know, little old me, not a great online presence.
You've hit the big time when you've been on Beyond the Brick.
Yeah, that was a big deal, and they shared it, and it got on their Facebook page. It got, you know, 70,000 views, which for me is huge. I mean, most of my videos barely touch 1,000. And it also got picked up by some other news sites that also linked to the video. So that's one of my more popular videos, which is really nice, given it took me so long to build.
Yeah, they do some fabulous videos Beyond the Brick, actually. I'm always on that channel watching.
Yes, yeah, it's amazing what they you know, they're living the dream. Their life is to report on great things that people build out of Lego. So that's wonderful, and they do such a good job of sharing things. So it just gets more people into Lego building.
They're actually at Steam last October, so they interviewed me on my GBC. So that's quite cool. Yes, I did. I met Josh.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah,
that's really good.
So how long do you normally keep your Mocs for?
So it depends. You know, I've got you know, right above me now, I've got a shelf of smaller Mocs that I've made, and I've kept those for years. The new Star Wars one, the scenes that we looked at beforehand, I'm planning to keep those as long as I can. I don't have any reason to take them down. It was just this one that we're looking at now, because it was so big, it was just impractical to keep up. Maybe if I'd have thought about it before I started building, I could have done it in sections so that you could take parts out and store them. But I wasn't that clever, so unfortunately it had to go.
Yeah.
Hey ho.
With Callum and I have had several things that, you know, they've lasted maybe 9 months, and then they go because we need the pieces or need the space. So I think everybody's in that boat.
Yeah, it's the pieces, isn't it? You know, much as we love Lego, it's not a cheap thing to.
No.
So you know, if you can recycle pieces, then that's often the best way.
Yeah.
It's a good job we have things like BrickLink that help keep the cost down when you need to buy things in bulk.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So is there any more questions you've got, Callum?
Again, do you have a favourite part of it?
It's got to be the gate. It's got to be the gate because it moves. It's probably, given the size of it, it's also quite unique. So there's a lot of Hoff scenes around. They're all utterly fantastic, but I think the gate for this one is the bit that people notice the most. They always, any comments I get is, look at that gate, how did you build that, or, you know, is it motorized, etc. That's the bit that people focus on. So yeah, that's my favorite.
Cool.
It was very good to build.
So is there any other videos that's on your YouTube site that you're really proud of, that you like?
Before I did all these Star Wars builds, there is a city on there.
Cool.
There you go. So third one along the middle, 50,000 piece Lego city. So that is largely it's sets and the occasional mock and mod. But that was good fun to build. But again, took a long time. And yeah, I don't have very much of that left at all now. I've got some of the buildings, but a lot of it, in order to fund the other Mocs I build, I do sell a lot of the Lego that I have on eBay to buy more Lego, you know, just to keep things going so the cost doesn't get out of hand. I guess the main piece in it was the Tower Bridge. So that's an extended Tower Bridge. I made it longer, wider, and there's a train line running across it. So I've turned it into a train bridge for the Emerald Knight set that I've
That's
got.
really cute.
Yeah, that was good.
Nice.
So that's it. And then weirdly, the oldest video that I have on my channel is a Star Wars video. It's a little, not that little, but it's a Return of the Jedi scene. It's the first one there under popular uploads, and I only really put that video on to show someone who it was the best way for them to see it. And that's my most popular video. 70,000 views for some YouTube channels. That's not very much, but for me, that is like 70,000 views. This video, that's very humbling. It's badly filmed because I literally did it on a very old camera. It's 3 or 4 minutes long, but it just seems to get watched a lot, which I suppose is a good thing. But I wish I knew its secret. But yeah, that's the way YouTube goes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we've got a video that is not particularly good, and I mean, we've only just started, but we've had 1,000 views on it already. So
that's really good.
Why do they want to watch that one?
It's a mystery. But
yes,
the important thing is we keep building. We keep our records. We put up our channels for ourselves, and if other people like it, that's the bonus. That's the way I look upon it.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing Lego for?
Well, so obviously I was quite into Lego as a boy. Then kind of it all got put to a side as life changed or whatever. And then when my son was born, probably when he was sort of 5 or 6, he started getting Lego Star Wars kits, and that kind of reinvigorated my interest, and I realised how far Lego had come on from what I call vintage Lego to today's Lego. The type of parts they got, the new colour schemes, the designs, the theming they've got. I was like, oh, this is really good. And then about that time, I was in the shop, and this shows how out of touch I was with Lego. I saw it was the Pet Shop modular, and I couldn't believe how good it looked. So I treated myself to it, and I just totally loved the build process, the architecture, how difficult it was, but how good it looked. And that was the one that got me right back into Lego. So from that day on, I was a big adult fan all of a sudden. And there's probably a bit of a funny story, not a funny story, but at some point in my life, I did get a little bit kind of a couple of mental health issues. And Lego was something that really helped me with that, because the therapeutic way of sorting pieces, the fact that your brain is build creation, brings out your creative parts. So it really helped me get over a tricky time in life. That time is now gone, which is great, but I do put a lot of my success on moving on from that time to Lego, and I've just kept going with it. Now it's something I really look forward to doing. I get a lot of enjoyment out of building what I build, and most enjoyment out of the talking side and meeting people like you guys and the community, and the fact that everyone is so friendly and so supportive. It's really nice to be part of.
Yeah, we're very similar to you. I wasn't into Lego much as a kid, but Callum, when he turned 5, we started getting into Lego, and the story went from there now. So 10 years later, we're big into Lego. So.
Yeah,
it's great you're both into it, because I'm sure that helps at home a lot. Whereas for me, I'm the only one in the family, so I have to say, I'm going to go and do some Lego now. Is that okay?
Yeah. But as you say, it's a great thing for your mental health, because it's total escapism.
It is. That's it. Yeah, it's really important stuff. Actually, I think a lot of people have found that with it. There are other things, of course, but Lego is definitely something that can help with that for sure.
Definitely.
Really important stuff.
Well, that's really been great to have a look at your YouTube channel and what you've created. I'd like to thank you very much, Mark.
No, thank you for having me on. It's been brilliant. It's been great to meet you both.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing some more stuff on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see each other at a show or something one day soon, once life can get back to normal and we can do such things. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Thank you.